Okay, good morning traders. Welcome to TradeSetup and the morning live stream for the 28th of October. It's a beautiful Friday morning here in Melbourne anyway. Hope everyone is well and looking forward to the day, looking forward to the weekend also. Let's just kick it off. Or firstly, obviously, everyone knows, or if you don't know, you can send any charts that you want to have a bit of a look at. It can be anything at all. It's always interesting to look at different markets and different charts. And I mean, I guess the same basis holds when you look at the technicals. They hold across the board. Some markets have some different intricacies, I guess, but generally, all we're looking at same type of price structure and things like that, and similar way to attack them. So yeah, feel free to send them through. If I don't know, I'll just make it up anyway. Um, yeah, you can send that through to support@tradesetup.com.au, or just you can just get on the chat and just whack it through the chat there, put in the code or what it is to look at, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys. So last night, not a big night in the US. It was down slightly. Europe was down. Well, the DAX pretty much was unchanged, and then I think the FTSE was up slightly, but that was only really, from the prior night in the US. Not a big night. I think they opened up. They gapped up on the opened a bit stronger, and then within the first hour gave it all up again because of some stronger reports. So I think the stronger reports, the stronger the chance of interest rate hike towards the end of the year or at the end of the year. It's not. It's more likely than not at this stage. I think I don't know who does it, but the betting is most people analysed or asked about whether they think it's going to be a rate rise. About 75%, I think, so far. Good morning, Christopher. IPD. Okay, we're going to have a look at that soon. Yeah, so more often than not, more likely than not, we're looking at rate rise in the US, and I think it's going to crimp gains because the market's pretty much going sideways, looking towards that, and of course the election. So I think anyone that's trading CFDs might be seeing some places increasing margins slightly because of the elections coming up. I guess we'll be thrown a curveball if Trump gets in. So that might bring a bit of volatility into the market. I'd expect probably a bit of volatility at that time anyway, just as traders muck around in the market. Right, let's get into it. Let's look at where the market actually is at the moment. It's only up 4 at the moment, so yeah, it's nearly 20 past 10. Market's not showing any big signs there. Let's just see the CFD just to see how it actually opened. Yeah, okay. So it says it has opened slightly lower on that there, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Obviously, the ASX was closed down here at some stage, and we just bounced up into the overnight. So I think we're really just sort of resetting ourselves today. Let's just go quickly back here. We've got a few stocks of banks. Let's just look at the sectors quickly just to see what's happening there. Get a broader range overview. Sorry guys, I'll just get them up here. What's that? Consumer staples not looking too flash, but not too bad. Just going a broader view there. What's it? Consumer discretionary being belted, obviously, like anything else, but still that longer term is going up. Maybe just a bit of a retracement, bit of contraction down there. Energy, yeah, that's never looking the best at the moment. Whether that's just longer term contraction higher, then we roll over again a bit like this. It'd be interesting to see, but I think obviously linked to oil. I think oil's been down on its knees for a while and it's finding a bit of support. Any time it goes lower, they talk about cutting supply. So I think just the mere talk and by OPEC and Russia and all the other guys is going to help support that market. So we may see this energy be supported as well. Financials. I think this is where we're going to get some action in the financials going forward. That said, we should be seeing the ASX go up too, so we'll have a look at that in a second. Yeah, but I find that's a lower contraction there. We're getting some higher lows. Obviously, this is a key level on a weekly basis at 63.40, say. This sort of high across here, it could easily roll over from here. This could be a lower high, and we could take out that low, and then bang, it could just either go down to retest or just make a lower low. But we'll see how we go. It could be down towards 52, 55, 51, 5200 in that sort of zone down here if we get a sell-off. but we'll see. I don't mind some of the banks. This is Westpac. We've got an entry on that one just in here, which is looking good until a couple of days of sell-off. That's backed off, still holding above 30, which is our key level at the moment, holding it up. If we can push up through 31, then that'll start looking good also. CBA, longer term, it's contraction, so you can see that bit of a washout of 70. Whether or not we hold a higher low here, build a higher low, and then push up is yet to be seen. So it's in that zone where you don't really want to touch it. If you're thinking about going long, you don't really want to touch it just yet. Okay, don't worry about that. It's just my phone going off there. Healthcare. Again, pretty much it's at a zone where it could get bought up from here. This is obviously just the sector analysis, so it could be strength coming back into there. These numbers, if prices are being sold off, individual stocks. So see how that goes. Obviously, healthcare. We're looking at that one. Information tech. Don't like that too much. Doesn't look very strong. Oops, same one. Materials. Yeah, let's see. It could be a bit of a washout of this major low from the GFC. And we'll just see if that can hold up. It'll be interesting to see if we can actually push up from here. But yeah, look at that monthly, it's well overbought too, so we'll just have to play by ear with these. That could easily just roll over, so just keep an eye on that. That's materials there. Resources, it's probably pretty much the same boat. We're missing a bit of info there, it's a bit strange, but anyway. So that's pretty much in the same boat there. It's getting to overbought. It's only had a bit of a rally, so I think we could find some pressure coming into those markets at the moment. So that means something's got to, if the market's going up, something's got to move. So just keep an eye on that. Maybe go to the banking sector, have a look at those. Alright, let's just skip that. Alright, let's take a look. What was it? Chris IPD. Actually, let's just get a little bit bigger chart. Not bad, really. Okay, let's go back to there. Alright, that was a good sort of consolidation pattern there. It's not the type of price. I mean, in here you could have got caught quite easily actually. You can see we pushed out through that high. Actually, let's draw it up. I'll get my little fancy tool again. I forget what this was. A weekly, was it? That is weekly. Yep. So we've had. You can see that high through there. That was broken. We sort of pushed up, pulled back, which is a good sign. Made a high low, popped through here, but then come all the way back down again, and retested down right back down below 90, and then double top up here, straight back down again. So it was happy to get bought up there. So it was stuck in that range, but that was some good price structure pushing it up, and then I just couldn't hold, couldn't continue. What you wanted to see is somewhere around here, build a higher low, come down, and then go again, but it just didn't happen. So that's not bad price structure, and then it builds slowly here, so you get that just tightening up of the range. And after a few tests down here, say that 75 mark, it wasn't too bad. Build a higher low here, and that was pretty much that retest of that 90 zone. So that wasn't bad after there, but it could have been a bit choppy through there. So in saying all that, we've had this big leg up, which is probably not far off that distance there. Now we may have a bit more to go, somewhere up towards 1190, but that to me looks a bit stretched just at this moment. So if you're considering that on a weekly basis, obviously nothing to say it can't keep going. You just want to plan. Okay, you can't just sit there and say, oh, I'm going to buy it, it's going to go up, I'm going to be right. You've got to have a plan of attack if you're wrong too, and you've got to really just weigh up your options, I guess, with those things like that, trades like that have actually gone quite hard. You'd prefer to be in here when you've got that overall good structure. It's had a push up, it's coming back, consolidating. So when you go in that consolidation, or we call it contraction, you can see that base holding up. So that there was a prime little entry prior to this level. You don't know if it's going to do the same thing, push up, back off from here. You could have got caught, but then you could have at least given yourself a chance for a break-even trade. That's on a weekly basis, so you would have had to been, that was quite a while ago, but on a weekly basis, we look like we're getting stretched there. If we actually go down and just look at the daily, and just look for some entries just to see if it's actually is a potential. So again, it's a bit so I think that was that double top we've got up there. No, what was that, 90, wasn't it? It was through here, was that major support. So you can see in here, look, that absolutely magic. That's the kind of setup you want to look for. I don't know if you've traded this, Chris. You had a bit of a go at that prior, or you just started looking at it now. But yeah, guys, just remembering that weekly these types of things are good. You've built that weekly picture. You know what's happening. You know it's a major level at 90. I don't know. I've actually got my finger pointing at the screen, which you can't see. You've got that major level at 90, which is broken. You've had that oscillation, a bit of a retest, push up. Okay, you get that expansion up, come back, retest, expansion, double top. So that's bringing some sellers. You can see by this lower high in here, pull back. But then it's straight away. It's got some buyers stepping in again. You know, another high low built hill. So that all that picture to me is fantastic. That's actually a really nice little setup if you're looking at it on a daily basis with the context of the weekly. You know, you've got a double top, so imagine front running that double top. You imagine the type of buy entries stacked up there. Well, that's beautiful, Chris. Actually, I'm already in. I'm looking for an exit. That's awesome. It's really good. So yeah, I mean that to me that for me, you see how you can really refine your you've got a little minor push up. It's within that, it's an inside level too. All this is inside action of that weekly trend, and you've got that's really starting to build, really building really nicely. A push back down, retest. These lows are holding higher lows. Little breakout of that, inside level, very minor inside level. But on the daily, your risk is very very small down there, and for potential even just up to this level 120, great payout. The fact that you're sort of front running a key level there, and it did pop up as soon as you get in this price section, that's awesome. That's really really good. So you can just follow it all the way up. Bit of a deep correction, which would have been got a bit hairy, but taking some off. There's nothing wrong with taking just by measuring your legs. We did before. We measured this leg. We know we're getting towards the top somewhere. If you measured that, you could have just taken it off, taken a partial exit there. But I hope that makes sense to everyone. Just by building your picture from the weekly chart, drilling it down, and just try to build, keep it in context that weekly. So you're going to get, like I said, that the wind to your back, I guess, wind into your sails from the weekly chart is really going to start kicking in those longer term traders, and you just want to try to minimize it by going down to a daily chart. Where are you actually long from, can I ask, Chris? Yeah, but sorry, we'll just quickly, if you're looking for an exit, personally, I'd just be following. You can, if you're long from somewhere in here or this sort of breakout area, you just want to be following these lower highs up. We know we've got some action here. We've got a bit of a double top there, but this still doesn't look bad. You're getting this sharp move up. It's corrected down here, and as soon as you get this type of break section with it holding, I reckon that's really nice. 90, you're a legend. That was fantastic. No, really, really good. Just see if you can actually, I like to see that. That's really nice. And if we're potentially going to build a lower high in here, you don't know. That would be great if we can turn around and go back up, because then it's going to take this high. And if you start failing up there, see how you go. Yeah, but just you've done quite nicely there by the looks of it. So yeah, that's the way I would like to attack that. But each person does whatever they got to do. But just you keep in mind what you're doing there. Now what else have we got there? I've had somebody mentioned we've got GXY. Let's just take a look at that quickly. We did an alert. I was looking at that prior to yesterday. Alright, we've got another one just to look at. Yeah, so what is it? Galaxy Resources. I still never know what they're called, but GXY, I think that's neither up or down is confirmed to me just at this moment. If we just draw this up, we just get it on a chart there. So I don't know if anyone saw the alert, if anyone's got the alerts coming through to their phones, what we're sending out, but this is one that we have been looking at for a little while. And we did, there's someone else in the room that was looking at it too, and send across a chart just to have a quick look. But I think they're right on the money with what they're looking at. I think in the way of levels. So you can see that contraction, it's holding that trend line lower, but what you're starting to get here is some high, just a higher low build. I mean, you sort of got it in here, then you had a breakdown, so that's what you got to be careful. It's, you know, you've got this major trend low, you've had a pop up, a higher low. Don't just try not to, I wouldn't be looking for buys in there. I'd be looking for buys once it breaks this high, because then it's confirmation that it's probably turning. At the moment, I'm more in that type of price sections maybe playing out again. So you're getting that high low contracting back up to resistance, and then it could easily just roll over. So it's just something to watch out for. But I think definitely taking into context this move up, I don't know if you use Fibonacci's or however, if it's contracting 50% retracement or whatever you do. I like to just, as a general rule of thumb, 1/3 to 2/3 retracement. That's the leg up there. 1/3 to 2/3 back, which is probably putting you in about that zone now. And then just looking for some area to a bit of a breakout, and we're sort of gunning for that 36 potentially, even if you get up towards 38. So 36 is quite aggressive in my opinion. Hasn't really broken. To me, you've got those high lows building, but it could easily pop up, just wash out a bit and then roll over. But taking out that sort of 38 level, so if we can draw this up here, I'm sure we can all see it. Okay, so that's the move down, the leg down, and at the last bits of the leg, if you've got price action like this, it's sort of pushing up. Well, that's not very nice. Pushing up, pull back, built a higher low. You get in this type of price action here, and it's just starting to roll over. Now that's the 36 mark, just in there. If you pop out there, it still coincides with that trend line. It may just be, it's just touching above that, touching through that trend line there, but that's all subjective. Depending on where I put it anyway. So if we get that push through, what I'd prefer to see is that push up through here, that 38 level. We'll draw this up a bit cleaner. Alright, so we've got this level up here, 38. I'd rather see that sort of push up there, a pullback, and then go. And you can buy it, back through here. Somewhere like that. That's the way I like to attack things, because then it's sort of confirmed that this downtrend's broken with this push up through 38. You're looking for that higher low to build, and then potentially that's where a lot of other people will start to look at it too, because it's better confirmation. Still getting quite early. You're getting in down here with the potential of a push up through 56, up towards 56. But yeah, getting in the unknown, looking for trader to sell to traders that are getting in at the known, if that makes sense. All right, we've had another one to look at. We've been looking at Telstra. So a quick look. All right. So currently we've just, our short trade is triggered on this. We'll go through sort of what we're looking at. I don't know. We've had a bit of discussion on this prior, but I think that looks really nice. It could easily just wash out these lows, but we'll go through and draw that up just here. So starting off at the weekly, I always like to have a bit of a bigger picture view. And I'm really liking this drawing tool, it makes things a lot easier. That's not what we want. Okay, so Telstra. So we can see, it's pretty obvious there's a major key level through here. Okay, it's about the $5 mark, thereabouts. We've had price contracting into it, and it's just, you can see these highs, it's slowly making new highs and then failing. And what you've got is that fail through 525. This is on a weekly basis. It's been bouncing around below 525, in between that and $5. That's not the best sign if you're a buyer. If you're looking to buy, you've had rejection off there, and that's probably why you got this contraction higher. Back up towards that resistance zone, that sloping resistance. I never know what to call those, by the way. And then we've rolled over from there. So weekly, that could easily just, say if that's support, we're making this big move down. We've had that little minor push up, and now we're coming back. It could easily just pop through, come back up, and then go and make lower levels. There's down towards that $4 say, $4 mark, but it could easily just push down. You may get a bit of a retest, or you could just get that extension. That extension could give us an opportunity just to lock in some. All right, looks like we've gone offline. Oh, we're back on, back on. Hopefully, guys, we're all a bit of a glitch there, but we'll push through. All right, no, it's all looking okay. Everyone on, by the way, can you? It might just cut out in a sec, but all good. There we go. All right. Yeah, so that looks good. That weekly setup, you know, there's quite a bit of pressure on the downside. You know, you've had this consolidation or contraction back higher. You know, a bit of a wedge pattern or whatever you want to call it, and then bang straight through. Now we've got that support level there. We've got a lower high at 525, and then it's just going through our trigger at 499, I think it was. So if we have a bit of a look at the daily, just go to a daily, drill in a bit. Okay, so you can see that that's a $5 mark through here. So you can see those lower highs building now. At the moment, we've got our risk up. I think it's way up there, just above there, but we can actually lower that quite easily. You know, Telstra's not a fast-moving stock by any means. It is grinding high. It's getting towards oversold, but if you remember that weekly, it's just that weekly could easily tip over, remain oversold, and you've got quite a bit of fat in that trade by the looks of it. So what we're looking for is really, you know, we may get just a retest down here. We'll see how it goes. Maybe a bit of reaction off that low there. But if that was going to be a washout, this is not the best of signs to build this lower high here, especially so low. That was quite, you know, strong selling coming in just here, and then again build another lower high, say around that 512 mark, and that's just been pushing low. So if that continues on, we've got some tight risk in there. We're looking for that continuation. We don't know if it's going to be a leg that size from here, pushing all the way down. That takes us to 40%. That could take us right down, yeah, easily to $4. So we'll have to see how that plays out, but it looks nice. Right, fantastic. All right, is there anything else someone wants to look at before I keep plugging away? Just check the emails. Yeah, feel free to chuck in a code if you like. Right, let's keep going. Let's just take a look at where the market is now. Let's actually go through the ASX and just a bit of a view on that at the moment. The Aussies copped it a bit too recently. So this is our daily chart on the what we're viewing. It's a CFD, but you know, similar price action on the actual ASX. So the daily trend is still high. We've had a couple of solid days, but it was a bit like this reaction. You know, if you can see that that in there, not much different to that sort of lower high, that price action in there. So if you take that into account, we've had a good sell-off. You know, come down pretty hard. I know a few people were getting a bit nervous down there, but it was still just holding the uptrend, the daily uptrend. The difference is what we're seeing is coming off a major lower high. We might be just getting contraction, and we are getting towards. So if we're going to push down a bit lower, it's just washing. In my opinion, it could just be washing people out. We don't know, but you just have to be wary. Obviously, when you're, you know, if you're looking at entering a position, you don't know what's going to happen just yet. Yeah, it's definitely, it could easily just wash out a bit lower, and you've got yeah, down that oversold position there, oversold territory. So if we do just get that washout, I'm expecting that to come. It's going to be hard just to keep heading straight south from here. You expect that wash, then bounce sort of a bit of this price action, I guess. Something a bit similar to, if that draws better. Whoop. Oh, let's just skip all that. Something like that, you know, has a big washout, pushes back up, takes out in a minor lower high, and then consolidates, and then we start again. So if it gets that top of price action, and we get maybe that with a push back up, build that high low, and then we either just trend back up to here, we may have to consolidate a bit and then go. We don't know what's going to happen. or it just starts to roll over. You don't really want to see, from down here, test down here, and then start to pop back up to build those, like that type of price action there. That wouldn't be too favourable if we start heading, if we break down there, we just continue down and head, test down to 51.50, or that zone, that support zone. That's the key level at the moment, holding it up. If we don't get some buying back in here, sort of that 52.70 to 80 zone, then yeah, it could be it's looking a bit negative. So we'll see how that goes. But that's the 30-minute chart, and you can see there's that price action coming down into that support zone. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if, well oversold here. We were well oversold. Really a big washout lower, contracted overnight, and we're coming back, and we could build that high lower in here. You don't know, it could just wash out. But just something to keep in mind. But the trend still, even on that half an hour chart, is down, definitely down. So it's going to take a bit of an effort. We've got to build, just consolidate a bit, or contract a bit in here, build that higher low, bit of a base to attract some buyers. All right, we've got a take a look at the CSL. Just want to see what the Aussie's doing quickly. Okay, not too much. Whoa, interesting there. So that's a good zone in there. That's $100. If we can draw that up, we'll just take a bit of a view of that. Start with a weekly, obviously. Obviously, it's still holding trend. Longer term holding trend higher, but it's coming into that. We may see a bit of action off that there, or reaction off that $100 mark. So nice round figure too. Oh, it's just gone through. Yeah, so it's just actually touched below $100. It'd be interesting to see if it can hold up, or we just get a bit of a washout of these prior lows, even this low just in here. So you've got these two areas. If we get a bit of a washout there, we may just pop lower because it's so close to that support line as well, and then it may engineer a bit of a move higher. But again, it's got to go, if it's going to come in through, so that's our level 100 even. We've got this sort of price action in here, bounced off. You just sort of expect it to extend there, but if we can get into that support zone, it's a good spot to extend, flush out a few traders, and then it could easily just build its way back up again and build that high low, break through, and away we go again. We don't know, but it's getting to oversold territory. Let's just see, or this could just pretty much just wash out, take out those lows, and then just from here head south. It's when you get this type of price action getting through, extending down, really a good extension lower, then coming back up, retest, then bang, then we're off. Major contraction of this leg up, that's quite extended really. Let's have a look at the daily just to see where that's. Yeah, it's interesting price action there. Major lower high here on the daily basis, so could get a bit of action there. It is well into oversold there though, so that's a bit of a so again, just marking up what you want to see, I guess, what you would expect to see if you're going to trade it. Yeah, I don't know what keeps doing that there. So that's our $5 zone. $100 zone. Bit of a washout here. We've got a low here. It's just touching on those lows now, so it'd be interesting to see how if it can wash out, come back. It's getting. I'd rather see it. If I was expecting to move through and a really deep move, say down to, I don't know, 94 thereabouts, even down to sort of this area here, expecting some action. I don't really want to see it oversold. I'd rather see it sort of mid-range. It's just a stronger, more powerful leg down. To me, when you get down to oversold territory and you get into support, from this sort of move down, it's sort of used up all its energy. Obviously you never know, but if we can get, say we've got our support again there, we might just get that extension through and come back up and build that sort of price action, higher low, retest this zone after a washout, and then go, and you're sort of looking for a trade through there. You got your first targets obviously up at this level, but yeah, but just remember there's going to be some stops packed in there. Anyone that's sort of gone long in this, anywhere above $100 is going to probably have stops packed in just below $100 just to see how it goes. Morning, Sharon. How are you? Wally. So I hope that everyone agree or disagree on CSL. Feel free to comment. If you disagree, I'm not going to read it. All right, let's take a look at Wally now. Okay. All right, so a bit of a. Let's just get that weekly, just to mark it up, get some sort of context there. All right. Interesting, obviously a downtrend there, but it's got a lot of room to move, contract back up. On the weekly, this to me is a key level, say the $12. You can see that contraction high, it's holding that support, getting to overbought. So the closer you get to overbought and you're still holding within that, that anchor for this leg down, it's not looking too positive. And then you can see here we've obviously potentially got a double top there. Minor retest fail, we call it. Just learned something new. So you can see that in there. So it's coming to a point where it could roll over again and retest that. So if you're looking for shorts, you got this sort of context, you've got your risk you can put up here. You could easily sell through that 7. I'd be looking for a nicer setup. I'd rather see you got your double top here. I'd rather see a push down and build off that shoulder, off that lower high. I'd rather see that type of price action to go into short. You can just minimize your risk even above here. Break below there. That high, lower high. What am I talking about? Lower low, sorry. Breaking through there. That type of price action I'd rather see than just going in short here because of that double top. I think that's not, especially when you've got this extended downtrend here. It's been moving down for quite a while. Longs wise, going long, I'm looking at that. I mean, you're going against a strong weekly downtrend, but sooner or later it has to find something. Just go back to the monthly. So there's no real. It could easily just extend back down again and test back down towards 250. So, or $3, sorry. Going to the daily. Just quickly looking at daily. Remember that context we put out. I think there's a key zone just up here. Above 12. So that key zone's, I don't know if you can see my mouse, way up here, just above 12. So let's just draw that one up there. So my view on that. So you've got that. So that's probably not right, is it? It's more up here. I think I'm from the weekly. So that's the key level holding the weekly trend down. Now we've broken that downtrend there. We pop back up. We pull back, sort of retested, and then working our way high at the moment. So we still got that support. This really is a key level holding that daily up, and then you've got a double top which is just backed off. It's just reacted off 950. So it's getting to an interesting stage. Well oversold here. So that's probably the difference where you've got your daily. So we're still looking for, on a daily basis, if that's going to hold that 950 zone and you've got that push up, that contraction lower, that push back up, a retest, and we're currently sort of in here. Again, you just want to, maybe we get this type of price action, you'd want to see it pop below there and then come back up. So as soon as it comes back up, that break of that key level down here suggests to me that it could easily just roll over, and then you're looking just in here for a short. But going long, you're extending back up into that key level up towards 12. So I just don't see. I mean, you could easily, if we just take that off. All right. So if you're thinking of entering long, purely because we are, oversold territory, and it is looking like it's going to hold this level at 725, and we're building another. So we're looking for a higher low here, and we want to sort of front run that 950 zone. So that's your 950. We've got that support in there. The big push up, retest, up, and now we're currently here. I would want to see if we just draw a different color. I like using pretty colors. you want to see that high-low build. You know, you might maybe a bit more contraction, and that sort type of price action gives you a chance to front run and really minimize your risk on the long side. You know, coming out of oversold, and if we do push up here and start stalling up towards 950, okay, you might have something, something in your trade. Um, you might have some gains already booked, and then just maybe take a partial exit or whatever. But there's a potential for it to, if anyone's short on that, they're going to have stops just above there. If we get that washout, we could get that continuation, wash out, pull back in, retest, and then go again. And we, heading up towards that 1175. So then I think once you start seeing that price action and breaking that 950, that weekly trend is going to start to be coming under pressure because we're working our way back up to a key level. So I think the weekly to continue lower, this level's got to hold and build that lower high. If we start seeing, because we're oversold here on a daily basis, we could see that potential, that high low build on a daily basis, and then we can work our way back up through 950. It could be a bit of just, beating around up there. Market just a bit choppy, so just we'll keep an eye on that. But it's a good one to look at. How'd that go, Sharon? More confusing than anything else? All right. So we looked at Galaxy, didn't we? I'm pretty sure we did. So Telstra has that there, 498.99. So that's not too bad. We've got a SLR. We're looking for that. We've got that little entry through 60, and we're looking. We've got really minor risk on that. You can put it around 55. It's quite easy. Looking for that to continue because that's quite a. It's coming off a good base, high low build just in that 47 mark. So that's a longer term view. So that's going up quite hard. Contracted back down. That was quite a solid move up towards 70. That's not the best of charts, is it? Okay, so we made that lower high just in here, just below 70, pushed back down, washed out a few late longs. Anyone who sort of got long in here, washed them out. Pushed down to 45, made a high low just above 45, and then we're gone again. So that's quite strong price action in my opinion, especially when you've got that extension above, say 53, these minor inside highs. Pushed up, pulled back, and it's held above that, held quite strong. So that we're quite happy to push up through 60 with a push up through 60 to get in, and looking to target up towards 67, 70 zone just to see how that goes. But looks quite good, especially in a weekly. You've got a lot of, especially if you're getting up through 70, you can see the amount of clear skies above you, even up to $100. That could easily, that weekly looks good. It's come in, made sort of pretty much a triple bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's touched down there quite a few times, and it's starting to break that weekly trend. Everything's looking great on a weekly basis. Yeah, so it's just a matter of picking your entries. So yeah, we like that one. What else we got here? This is another one. I don't mind that one. We've had a go at it before, and we had our exit at 20, which is beautiful. We got washed out there, and you can see it pushed straight back up again. So it's only by half a cent or so. We got done at 20, so that wasn't quite nice. It gives you the irrits sometimes, but yeah, that's the market. That's the way it is. Let's draw this one up. I actually don't mind if we go to the weekly. Yeah, you can see on the weekly basis it had a really powerful move up. That's quite strong. So you expect contraction after that. That type of move up, if you're buying up here, I think it just gets crazy. It's a bit crazy up there. So you need to see that contraction. And when you start holding higher lows, that's a decent sign that the market is definitely contracting. Lower highs, higher lows, contracting in on itself there. So that to me looks quite nice. That's the reason why we got in previously. We did get that run up. We were in front for a little while, but it just didn't play out. Washed us out, which is which we can see there. Yeah, washed us out just below 20, and then it's still holding that trend though, so it still looks really nice. Let's actually draw that up just to get some context on that one. EDE. Alright, so you've got that trend lower there, it's still holding that, and these high lows are holding. You've got a high low in here, so we pushed down, made a high low, another high low, but we haven't really, I mean, if for instance, if you're looking at buying there on a breakout of 24, because that's a little inside high, you could just be capped, within half a cent or cent at 25. So I think that's a bit, I would prefer to see these sorts of levels. As soon as you see this attacked at 27, so that's your 27 level. It's pushed up, it's pulled back, so that's that point there. Made a high low, and we're pushing up there. You don't want to get in this price action and then buy just in here. Sorry, if I just draw that a bit nicer. You don't want to be buying and breaking there, because it could still be holding trend. Still contracting, just pop up and then roll over. You don't want to see that. You want to see more. If we've got that there, if you can understand what I'm trying to draw, that's a contraction zone. You want to see more of it attack that level. Okay, so if you get it up to that level, it's pushing up in here, pulls back. Then you want to see a bit more contraction. Some more inside higher lows, and then goes. Once you see that type of price action, I'm quite confident after it's really broken out of that contraction, and it's starting to show signs that it's going to punch higher. Then that's where we want to be attacking it, I think, in there. But if you get an entry within that contraction, it just makes things a bit harder. It's a bit more uncertain. Cycles, yeah, I guess. Sorry, excuse me, just let me have a bit of a sip of coffee. Cycles, I guess the only cycle I guess we've talked about this before, is contraction into expansion. So everything expands up. I don't know if it's like an 80-20 rule type of thing. Things will contract for 80% of the time, and when they expand, they go quite sharp. They use up all their energy. But that's, in the way of cycles, that's sort of all I look at. And then levels. So I'm always aiming, in my opinion, to buy from contraction going into expansion, and then just looking for a basic setup when you start to get signs that contraction's starting to break. Like this, we're contracting lower. We can see that, but we're holding higher lows. That's price coming into a point, and it can only come into a point. If you can see that, it can only go up, bang, bang, bang. Sooner or later, something's got to happen. You get this type of price action, but you don't know which way. It could easily just roll over, or it could just pop straight back up and push up. So we're obviously basing our you got to build your opinion which way you think it's going to go by analyzing weekly, then go down to a daily, but then just really looking for your setup. To go long, I'd rather see a failed low, buy through there. To go short, it's that type of price action, sell through there, once it's broken this out of this contraction. So that's sort of the cycles. If that's what you mean, that's what I would look at. Anything else, not necessarily. And I like things that are in overbought or oversold. If it's heading up towards overbought and you've got something coming out of contraction, that's what you want to get. So that momentum's on your side. Anything else we want to look at, guys? Any other charts that take an interest that you're taking a liking to? Yeah, so we haven't really moved, to be honest. Only up 5 points still. We're up 6 or 7 just previously. So the time we've been talking, it's really stuck in that. It's really a tight market today. WBC, we're heading back down. So we like that setup. It's still holding above 30. Still could easily pop up from there, but we have to see how that plays out. We want it to hold that 30, this high low just in here, if you can see that. Yeah, this is one we had, and you can see, I don't know if you remember speaking about it previously. I think we've spoken about it. We've got a level up here. We're holding higher lows, and we had that little washout of $2, and then we held that higher low, and we worked our way up. We were in here around that I think it's 13 or 14 level, on the basis of this spike lower, and then that rejection, and then it did go in our favour for a bit, but that type of price action through there was really uncertain. I didn't like it too much, and then obviously the last couple of days it sold off quite hard with the market, so out of that position was a small loss, but the risk involved in that was quite small, so taking a punt that that's actually going to go higher, building our picture and looking for that move higher. We're looking for that. It wasn't the ideal setup, but yeah, we had everything in play, looking to move up towards that 225, but it just couldn't do it. Oh, what else we got? CKF. Anyone been following that with us? We excuse me. No worries, Sharon. I'll have a look at that. So this year at CKF Collins Food Group, we were in that for quite a while. We liked that, and that was beautiful price action with a move up through. I think it's 462. We had it. Just inside really. You can, if you see longer term. Actually, let's just drill it out. See that market's contracting. It's probably on a weekly basis there. So this market here is just contracting. You built that high low. It's a bit like what we were just talking about before. I've already forgotten. It's a bit like that. You got that high low, lower highs were building through here. At this stage we were looking at, just in this stage, coming off that support zone, looking to buy, and really, there's quite a bit of movement that would potentially move up to. Let's just go there. So we're buying, if I could just mark that up, looking for that contraction. There's quite a bit of fat on the upside, and we were right in here, right in this support. So I know just a second ago I was saying not to buy in contraction, especially if don't buy up towards the top or sell towards the bottom, obviously, because unless you get a good setup, and then you break out of the contraction. But at this stage, there was a bit of room to move out of contraction. We're sort of front running that break. We got that entry there, just at this zone here, just at 460 or 462, I think it was, in that zone there. And then we got that push up. As soon as we got that push up through 475, I think it was, on the daily, that was starting to look really good for a breakout of contraction. Now it did, but it touched, literally I think it was 1 or 2 cents shy of our partial exit. So we did take a partial exit eventually, just below $5, but would have been nice for another 10 cents or so. And then the last couple of days have just got us out. The remaining trade just a touch above break even, so a few cents we gained. So good little trade in all in all. It played out all right, but you can see that market's coming out of contraction. Now that's still not over. It could still easily hold this trend here. We've got that initial sign. So if we get, so that's 510 up there, we've broken out of contraction, a big move up, pull back. Sorry, that's that top price action there. Draw that. So we made that high low. We entered just in here. We've entered, touched up at 510. Now we're pulling back. This trend is still holding. So if we get some sort of price action, maybe reaction off there again, and then similar type of price action, then I think that puts us in good stead, because that's that type of entry there. Once you've got this breakout of the contraction, it's potentially looking like it's going to go up through, another through 510, another high lows built, and we're looking for maybe an entry through some price action like that, a high low builds, and then bang, we're trying to front run that break of 510. Now if it doesn't happen, so be it, we were wrong, but there's still potential in this in CKF at the moment. Now what will we, CDD, let's take a quick look at that. Ooh. There's not much, obviously. I think that's all the data, isn't it? Back to 04, thereabouts. Yeah, so you can see this major. It's probably better on the weekly. Maybe not. So just on a weekly, that's the high here. Okay, from that month. Oh, okay. So we're looking at this high here in context to this one here to start with. Let's go back to a weekly and just come on. We'll just draw that up. So we've got that major high. To me, that's not anything, and you can see that it's a push up from quite low, really. I mean, so you got that little. That was a beautiful little setup there, by the way. You can see that price action in there. Big washout, high low in here. Bit of consolidation just below that, prior to breakout, and then that push up through here. This level here was fantastic. I like that type of setup. Risk is down here, so that's nice. But just remember that's quite a strong leg up into that resistance zone. Now we did get that washout just here. Then a lower high. That's not really. As soon as you start getting that and we start rolling over from there, I'd be a bit concerned because it's a major level, and a lot of the times you get a push up through. We just did it on the ASX recently, push up through resistance, retest with a lower high, and then a pullback. So if that was a strong market, you'd expect this to hold, to engineer maybe a higher low to build, bit of contraction, and then a push up. Another, get that energy back into the market. Anyone that's on the sidelines, get them back in and start to buy it back up for a potential push up through 330. Didn't happen. We kept hit batting that $3 mark and then rolled over from there. Again, a lower high just in here. So that's not good price action. You can see what happened after that. So this is a major, at $3 ended up being a major lower high, and then you get some inside lower highs also, which is just not. It's not. You'd be a bit worried, especially when you get that support, bit of consolidation in there, bit of support, that lower high pressing down into support, just where this support is a rising support, I guess this trend line is, and then we just get that failure. So all that in context, what we've done is just push straight down. We've just projected that leg down. Okay, so we've had a good strong leg down. To me, we've got the low at 30 cents. We're still holding that weekly. It was weekly, wasn't it? Yep. So that weekly trend hasn't broken. That weekly leg down hasn't broken because we've got this level in here. It's pushed up into it, and then we're just starting to back off. So potentially this could be a lower high on a weekly basis, and we could easily just work our way back down again. Okay, so we'll drop down to a daily, but just taking that into just remembering that we've got that weekly leg down. It's taken out this major low at $1.10. Geez, the chart starts getting a bit messy, doesn't it? Just clean that up. So we've got that weekly leg down. Let's push down below through $1.10. It's sort of, we got some reaction off it, but it just couldn't get through, and we were holding low highs there. Built another lower high, and then especially after breaking through $1.10, these lows, you got rejection there. Okay, that could be a washout. We don't know at this stage. At this point here, it's pushed back down again. Oh, that's not looking good. Pulls back up, builds a lower high. If you're thinking about going long, or you're going long in here, I'd be concerned, especially on a weekly basis. And obviously, we know what happened from there. Bang, straight through. So at the moment, we don't know if that's a bounce, building another lower high in here, and it's going to roll over and continue lower. We don't know any of that at the moment. But at the moment, that weekly leg down, we've probably had quite a good strong leg down, which hasn't abated yet. But there's no real sign that it's gonna stop. So if we just go to, let's just bring up a daily, just like have a look at a daily, and just try to get that action there. All right. So what I am seeing, Cardno, is, so I think that was our resistance zone, was it? 150? Yeah, okay, around 150. That's sort of our major resistance on a weekly basis, holding this leg down. You've got some other, that's your lower high, then we've got that breakdown here. We've got our low was built in here. We just got that gap, so that was not a bad sign of strength. That's sort of a little minor level hold. At the moment, we're heading higher. Okay. So to me, this price action here, just today, really, is not very good. I don't really like it. We're a mile off that 125. We're quite a ways off that. But the fact that it's just broken down through there, you don't know what's going to happen. It's actually open lower and pushing up. We don't know if that's we're going to get. If we just imagine that's a trend line there, we've come from quite a high up here. we've pushed down. We don't know if that's just going to be a bit of a washout and we start holding that trend again and go, or we get this type of price action pushing down through support, come back up, and then just making some minor lower highs and then go. So once we start failing and we make a lower highs, it potentially up around $1, $1.05, even up towards $1.10. We've got a key level around that $1.15. If we hold lower highs like this and then start to roll over, then I think it's going to be, we could be looking right back down towards 35, but there could be a good short in that at the moment. Weekly trend is still holding down. It's held down at $1.50. Potentially on the weekly basis, this is a lower high, and we're starting to show signs. It's really early yet, so if you're long, I would potentially be a bit concerned about longs. If you got in here, that's all good. You've got a lot of, you've reduced your risk. You could easily reduce your risk, but yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting type of setup there. Wally, okay. So yeah, this one's, what are we talking here? Cardno. So yeah, I think there's I'm happy to stay out of this one. You can see this type of price actions built quite a few, big flush to the top side, come down, build a lower high, which is just done here, big flush out, big washout to the top side, comes back down, builds a lower high, and then fails. So we could just be getting, you don't know, a bit of this price action, comes in, tries to go back again, pop back up, consolidate for a bit, and then roll over. We don't know. But at the moment, to me, it's not looking too strong. Okay. So in at 60, that's not, yeah, you could, to me, that's not a bad entry there. Sharon, you got in around 60, that's not too bad. You can easily just tighten your risk up there. I mean, if this rolls over and takes you out, if you're locked in a small gain, doesn't matter. That's the way I like to look at it anyway. Obviously, it's we're not trying to give advice or anything like that, but yeah, just you've got the context, the bigger picture. Just always remembering that bigger picture. What could be playing out here. We could just be touched on support. You don't know. Not a bad day today, popping up. But yeah, you just want to good entry there anyway. What was the other one? Wally. So might look at calling it a day there, guys. Yeah, it's a great Friday afternoon. Hopefully, it's going to look to continue on from the morning into a nice afternoon. So, yeah, we'll call it. Oh, okay. Just quickly, CDD. Where would you put your stop loss? I'd be happy just around that 70 mark. It's up to you how much you want to risk on that, but it's above entry. Give him some room to move, see what happens. Getting to oversold, so that could be extended down. Could be finding some buyers there. We don't know. It's sort of 75. It's sort of that high there. It's touched it, found some reaction around that level. It's pushed up. We could come back into 80, 75, even 70. Get a bit of reaction down there, but you don't know if this ASX continues low. This could easily continue low. So yeah, just be wary. Either way, I'd be happy just to have something locked in there, a small gain at the very least, just to make it at least a break-even trade and just see what happens. All right. Yeah. Well, thanks very much for joining us, guys. Hope we all have a great weekend. I know I've got some relaxing to do. Actually, I haven't really. I've got to mow the lawns and do a few things, but maybe Sunday afternoon, a quiet drink for me tonight would be nice, and just relaxing. So, thanks very much for joining us. Again, we'll be back in on Monday. If you've got any charts you're looking at over the weekend, send them through or just whack them through the chat. Yeah, we'll go through them. I hope it's all helpful. If you've got any ideas, yeah, feel free to put them through and we'll have a chat. But thanks for joining us, guys. We'll speak to you on Monday. Have a great weekend.